Hi again, friends. It's me, Stan from cMoe, and I've got something really exciting to teach you today. It's something new, and it's called buoyancy. Now, when I was a little boy, my grandmother used to talk about a soap called Lifebuoy, and I thought that was the funniest thing ever. But as it turns out, a Lifebuoy is something that floats, and buoy means buoyancy. Buoyancy means the ability to float. Now I have several items here on my area. I've got a regular sheet of tinfoil. I've got a little cup. I've got some beautiful glittery rocks. I've got one bar of soap and another bar of soap. I have 2 stones, 2 styrofoam earplugs, a dinosaur, and a soda. So I know what you're thinking. All of these things have nothing in common. And you'd be right unless you were doing an experiment about buoyancy. So buoyancy is the ability of water to hold things up. And this is because of a term called displacement. Can you say displacement? Excellent. So displacement means that if I have a bowl shape, it will push away the same amount of water that would actually be in the container. If I take this container and I set it in the water, it floats because the pressure of the water holds it up. Remember displacement? I'm going to take some of these glittery stones and put them in our container. And let's see how many we can put in there until it no longer displaces the water. At that point, something interesting should happen. What do you think it is? Well, we're about to find out because the amount of weight we put inside overcame the displacement. So we'll take out our container and let's count how many stones it took to sink our container. It took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stones. Now you wouldn't think that this small container could hold that many stones, but it did, and that's what it took to do away with displacement. Now, as I look at these items, I notice that they are all, well, the bigger ones are about the same mass. Mass is something that has weight. Yes, they have weight, and things that take up space. And obviously, all of these things take up space. So I want to show you something interesting. Remember I told you about my grandmother talking about Lifebuoy? Well, this is a bar of Lifebuoy soap. What do you think will happen when I put it in the water? Oh, it sunk right to the bottom. But this is a bar of ivory soap. Let's put it in and see what happens. The ivory soap floats. There is another scientific principle that we need to talk about, and that's called density. These 2 bars of soap, while they are very, very similar in size, are very different in their density. The Lifebuoy soap is very dense, and therefore it sinks. The ivory soap is much less dense, and guess what? It floats. So let's try one more experiment. I have made something interesting. It's a little boat. Well, it might even look like a UFO, but it's actually a boat. So we'll set it in the water, and of course it floats. Now, if I put our dinosaur in here, what do you think will happen? Continues to float. There's not enough mass on the dinosaur to overcome the displacement because this boat is pretty deep, and therefore it would displace a lot of water. So we'll put our dinosaur in there, and we'll put, let's put the Lifebuoy soap in there as well. Still floating. Let's put another bar of soap in. Oh, it's still floating. Well, let's see. Let's put some glittery stones in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh my goodness. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Our boat is really well built. Oh, but there it went. Guess what, friends? The dinosaur floats. The ivory soap floats. Now we have 5 more articles. 2 red stones and 2 earplugs and 1 can of soda. Which of these do you think will float and which do you think will sink? I bet you can guess the first. The red stones. I think they'll sink. Let's see. Oh, they sure did, right to the bottom. Let's try the styrofoam earplugs. Oh, they float. Perfect. So they have good buoyancy. Now here is the kicker. When you look at this can of soda, and it's not been opened, it says that it is 12 fluid ounces. That means inside this container, there are 12 ounces. That means that it would take 12 ounces of water to displace this can. Do you think it will sink or float? I don't know. Let's see. So we'll gently put it in the water, and oh, it sinks and floats. Do you think you know why? Well, the can is not completely full. Inside this can, there's a bit of air, and that air shifts when the fluid shifts. That air is displacement, and the air in the shift causes that portion of the soda to float. And I bet you knew this already. When you go swimming and you pull a soda out of the container or out of your cooler, they're usually floating on top. So here is what I would call the wrap up of this lesson. I can fill my boat with water, and it would take about 12 ounces of water to fill up my boat. That means that my boat could withstand 12 ounces of material in it. 12 ounces. Let's see what happens. Ta-da! It stays afloat. The amount of displacement in our boat is equal to the amount of mass in our soda. And so together they make something called equivalence. You know what an equal sign is? Equal and equivalence are the same thing. This has been a great experiment. I want you to try it at home and send me a message to let me know if you were able to keep things afloat. And remember, it's because of buoyancy. Have a great day.